If this is a good little question from Sam. Let's see. Who is the fourth team if number 2, Michigan, number 3, Alabama, and number 4, Cincinnati all lose?
So Michigan's got 2 losses. Cincinnati has 1 loss. Alabama's got 2 losses. Oklahoma State wins in this scenario?
I guess so.
So Oklahoma State jumps up to 2.
I think Notre Dame's in that scenario.
I think Notre Dame isn't in that scenario, and then it's going to be a 2-loss conference champion, or it might be 1-loss Cincinnati. Although I do think that,
or it might be Alabama.
It might be Alabama, but it better not be. I do think that.
What about 2-loss non-champion Ohio State?
No, I feel the same way about that as I do Alabama. If you've got 2 losses and you didn't win your conference, you have no right to be in the playoff. You lost twice and you didn't win your conference. How does that prove you deserve to play for being the best team in the country? Logically, what sense does that make?
Fair. But their job is not to choose the most deserving teams. Their only job is to choose the 4 best teams.
Yeah, the 4 best teams that make best ratings at that point. No, I mean, it's hard to say what they would do. I would like to think in that scenario, 1-loss Cincinnati would stay in, but considering where they rank every other group of 5 team, as soon as they lose a game, Cincinnati might plummet to 22 for all we know.
So in the scenario that was just brought up, Houston would be a 12-1 conference champion. Are they still too far back to be able to get in there?
That would be really interesting to see how far Cincinnati falls and how high they raise Houston to see who gets that group of 5 spot. I think Cincinnati would probably still get it based on the win over Notre Dame. But at the same time, if
Houston has a head-to-head,
if they've got the same record and Houston's good enough to beat the team you had ranked 4th, maybe you were underrating Houston a little bit.
Well, they would also prove if Houston beat Cincinnati, that's 12 straight wins. They lost the opener to Texas Tech, blew a lead in the second half, and haven't lost since.
How much do they regret that?
Well, listen, we've watched Houston. That's not a 12-0 team.
No.
Right? I say that with love in my heart. You know, in the same way that we said Wake Forest, when it was undefeated, we were like, yeah, it might be a 9-3, 10-2 team. It hasn't all bounced the other way.
I don't know where it is now. I think it's improved based on their last couple of games. But I remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about this stuff, and I looked at the strength of schedule of the 130 FBS teams. Houston's strength of schedule ranked 130th, which again goes to my point earlier about how bad the American has been after you get past like the top 3 teams. The rest of that conference has been terrible.
All right. So what about the Oregon checks in at number 10 at 10-2? Again, Utah also up there currently at number 17, 9-3 overall. Utah, handing the Ducks their second loss. They still have the win over Ohio State in this 2-3. And look, I understand we're going deep down the rabbit hole here, but I want to at least, we've got all of these awesome listeners and viewers that are checking in, that are trying to play this game along with us. But if Oregon blows Utah out of the water, and in doing so avenges, remember the old Georgia 2017 argument? It was like, because it beat Auburn in the SEC championship game, it avenged the only loss that it had that season. So if Oregon were to blow Utah out of the water, of course not its only loss, but do the Ducks have any fighting chance to be able to make it up in the top 4?
I think so, in that crazy scenario.
Because 2, 3, and 4 all lose?
Because, yeah, I think that if you're a 2-loss conference champion and there's going to be a 2-loss team, I think you should get selected above a 2-loss non-conference champ. So I don't know if they would stick to that, but if I'm running that committee, yeah, Oregon would have a better shot of it than 11-2 Alabama or a 10-2 Ohio State. Especially because you consider, in a way, we've seen the committee, they don't come out and say it this way, but when you avenge your loss from earlier, they kind of erase that loss in a way. You know what I mean? It's not, you're no longer got 2 losses. You've kind of only got 1.5.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah. They had 2 losses, but they beat them since that loss. So therefore, listen, we had an econ class at North Carolina where if you got a better exam grade on the next exam, it could then replace your last one. And So of course I mailed in the entire semester and just let it all ride on the final exam as whatever happened is going to be my grade.
My
But
approach to AP Calculus senior year of high school.
yeah, like more sensible people would not try to set themselves up for that. But the college football playoff selection committee uses the same rules as my econ professor, which is like, yeah, but if you beat them later, we're willing to overlook whatever happened before.
Seriously, though, shout out to any teacher or professor who does that with the final, making it that important, because that really does allow you not to have to do anything all semester long. Just know what you're doing when you show up for the final.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you learned the lessons. Then
Thank
you
you for
walk
respecting our time.
you as long as I can prove to you that I have digested at least for a 3-hour period the concepts of this course, then hey, you've done your job. Great job, prof. 5 stars on Pick a Prof.